On Saturday morning, June 23, 2007, just hours after a successful concert, the NCO reassembled on the stage of the Schermerhorn Symphony Center to record one of the works it had performed the night before. Tarantella Reverie was composed a couple of years ago by guitarist John Jorgenson and frequent NCO collaborator Don Hart. It would be the first piece recorded for the album Jorgenson is making with the NCO over the course of the coming year. The session was scheduled for 10 to 1, and overtime was not an option. They had 3 hours to get it right.
Yeah, it'll take several takes on the cadenza, of course, and then from there out.
Oh, sorry. If everybody would check their chairs. A good wiggle, if you've got one that squeaks or ratchets or anything, let us know about it right now.
Okay, so what we want to do, let's just run it down, get everybody back on the page, and let them hear sounds with all the baffling and everything. We can get used to the non-amplified version of John. But before we do that, I want to show you my good luck charm created by Nicholas, which is every writing implement I could possibly need at the recording session, including the multicolor pen, which is the old red, green, blue, black, and the permanent marker he was quick to point out in case I needed to. So that was his good luck on my way out the door this morning.
Recording in the Schermerhorn was a luxury, but one that didn't come without challenges. Chiefly, the orchestra had to be able to hear Jorgenson's guitar part, but at the same time, his sound had to be isolated from all of the other microphones in the room. That makes it possible to cut together the best parts of various takes by the orchestra and the soloist. During the concert, his guitar had been amplified over monitors in among the orchestra. At the session, that wasn't an option. The solution was dreamed up by the NCO's longtime audio engineer, Gary Hedden. He had John sit in a 3-sided chamber of audio baffles. Jorgenson had his own mixing board, which allowed him to hear his own guitar, his quartet members, and the orchestra in just the right balance. There was no way to give all the orchestra members the same kind of control, but Gary rounded up a bunch of ordinary portable radios with earbuds. He then took John's part and broadcast it from this tiny FM transmitter over this homemade antenna. When the orchestra members turned to 107.1, they heard the soloist over the faint radio signal being broadcast in the hall.
I'd rather see this with this thing. You can hear around.
Right. Yeah, yeah, they're open here, right?
Once the orchestra had made a few passes of the first half of the piece, the leaders of the session headed outside to the actual recording rig, which was set up in a truck out in the parking lot. Here, another recording engineer was capturing all 32 audio tracks in the highest possible digital quality. He was able to keep an eye on the session through a closed-circuit, remote-controlled camera set up in the hall. Back in the truck, Paul Gambill, the music director, consulted on the finer points of the performance.
Is overwhelming a fair amount of the low end of the orchestra, the string bass.
Well, and they're hot right now. They're on 2 mics, actually.
Well, let's hear them
actually,
without that.
Musicians are gathering.
I can't hear the middle of the orchestra.
Okay, well, but that's a mix thing. It's not
Well,
going to be...
but are we sure we're okay? I mean,
I think those
And
without...
mostly overhead mics.
Yeah.
The 3 hours went by in a hurry. The NCO completed about 5 total passes of the 10-minute piece, mostly breaking it up into sections. Paul and Gary and Don, in consultation with others, will listen for their favorite parts and piece together the best of the 3 hours into one coherent recording. In the last half an hour, however, the orchestra had enough time to run the entire piece twice in a row without stopping. It was a remarkable experience to hear each successive take, feeling the orchestra grow more confident even as it grew more fatigued. Having landed enough takes with technical precision to cover the entire piece, the group was able to play with more abandon, taking more chances, and thus perhaps getting closer to the heart of the music.
Yeah, man. I think we got it. We got good stuff.
Yeah.